Hello everyone, how you doing? You're right. It's amazing to see so many hands there. I didn't know my mum could run around so quickly. So, first of all, I'll go back to the start. I was asked to have a look at this question, which is what should we, as a creative ecosystem, achieve in the next 5 years? So, to tackle that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we came to be, how it's nice that exists, and then try and tackle that question a little bit in what we believe it's nice that is our purpose and why we exist in the world. So hopefully those two things dovetail. Also, I'm going to walk around loads because I've watched those TED Talks, and the people who walk around loads look so good, don't they? Like, yeah, here we go. So anyway, disclaimer, first and foremost, is that this is the way that we did it. This isn't the way to do it. I think that's very important, is that you're going to see loads of things this weekend, and I think what the world needs less than anything is another Intern magazine, is another It's Nice That, is another Tashin. It needs whatever you haven't come up with yet. And so I think it's very dangerous, some of these conferences where things get replicated, but actually there are nuggets in all of these talks that you can take yourself and you can decide what you do with, and I think that's the most important thing. So at this point, Andreas has stolen my slide. So who knows It's Nice That? A load of you know it, which makes this much easier. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds in what we do. So we're an online platform mainly, and we champion creativity across disciplines. So that's the most interesting bit for me, cross-discipline, that as a graphic designer, I don't just want to look at graphic design. I'd like to look at illustration, I'd like to look at photography, I'd like to look at interactive, I'd like to look at a whole load of things. So this platform here is what we're known most for, the site. We write 9 articles a day. We go out to about 500,000 people a month, and it's grown from absolutely nothing, and it's grown from a really terrible idea that we had at university. So alongside this that I'm not showing, we also do a magazine biannually. We also do events and conferences, but I see none of these things as anything but publishing. Okay, you have something and you show it to the world. That's publishing. Every single one of you now from social media is a publisher, and that is all we do, and to say that we're in print or we're digital or we're this or we're that is complete rubbish as far as I'm concerned. So the really quick history is me and a guy called Will studied graphic design in Brighton, which is on the south coast of England, and when we were there, Brighton forced you to raise money for your degree show. If you want to go and have a degree show in London and show your work, you have to raise the money over 3 years, which is the smartest thing of any course, really. It sounds stingy, and we hated it at the time, but super useful, because we tasked ourselves with raising money in a way that would also educate us into the industry we were about to go into. So we did this project called It's Nice That, along with another one called If You Could, which doesn't exist anymore, where essentially, if you could, we asked artists to do a piece of work for us, and then we sold it to pay for our degree show. The simplest idea in the world. While we were doing that, Will, who's really the founder of It's Nice That, I'm not really the founder, I was kind of just there sitting next to him, he made this website, It's Nice That, because he couldn't remember anyone's name that we were working with as artists. And our tutors didn't believe that we were doing any research for our course. So that's why It's Nice That existed. And all in all, no one looked at it, because why would you? Why would you look at it? Because it was for me, and it was for Will, and it was for our tutors. So normally month-on-month stats, we had 3 uniques. Maybe sometimes someone in our class would look at it, but there was no reason, and there was no traffic, but there was a real reason. I guess then I'm going to fast forward really quickly. That was 2007 when we graduated, and in 2009, 2 years after leaving, we'd done little bits and pieces of jobs. Will worked in a design studio. I'd worked at an amazing illustration place called Peep Show, and along the way, I'd kind of forgotten about It's Nice That a little bit. Will was writing a lot on it, spending a lot of time doing it before and after work. And he phoned me up once in January and said, hey, you know what, there's 80,000 people looking at that thing that we did at university. So we were like, oh, wow, okay. So at that point, we quit our jobs, and we thought, let's sit in a room and let's work out how we make money out of these 80,000 people. Like, how would we make this a job? And so it looked very much like this. Will's much bigger than me, as you can tell. And we needed very small amount of space. We did design jobs to pay the bills, but essentially there were no real bills to pay. It was just a bit of web hosting, really. At that point, we did a magazine. This is our first idea to make money really out of It's Nice That, was to do a magazine. So everyone got interested that we were going to print from digital. I don't know why that was interesting, but it is, supposedly. And we did it because we knew there was a price on a magazine. You could charge £10 for a magazine, we could charge nothing for our website. So that's the reason we did it. And we worked out if, we'd given these 80,000 people free content every single day, would they ever pay £10 for it? Would they pay anything for it? And we sold out the first magazine, and that's what really gave us the impetus to keep going, really. we also were doing talks at the time. I guess we were experimenting. We were very lucky at this point because we didn't employ anyone. It was just ourselves to feed. We had some loan left over. We were just pleasing ourselves, and so we were allowed to experiment a lot. And at that point as well, we got approached by Nike to help them make some content. It wasn't called content then, but that's also arrived in the last couple of years. But basically to make some artwork. These were 7-foot portraits of 2 footballers that we made, who I'm sure you know very well. And they're all made out of little badges, and we worked with our tutor, Ian Wright, to do them. But essentially at this point, we saw a business model because a brand were asking us to use our network of these amazing people we knew to make brand new, exciting work. And that was really, really the difference, and that's when the penny dropped. So that was the middle of 2009, and at that point, we built an agency alongside the publishing platform, and we moved around a lot, loads of different studios. You see the backs of our heads a lot here, you know. People see It's Nice That Now as this polished, final thing, and they forget that there's everything moving up to it. We've been in 9 different studios. We've had lots of different people work for us, incredible people work for us. And now we're here. We've landed in a much bigger space. There's 25 of us. We're in London, and we're working across lots of brand projects. We're working across lots of different publishing platforms. And essentially, what we do has remained exactly the same. So we believed and we had a passion for creativity and for promoting creative work. And so the things we cover today are the same. We cover everything from illustration to design to art to photography to this is...
Wait.
It's one of the most viewed things on It's Nice That. You know, to architecture, to games, to fashion. I think you get this now, you know, to advertising. And again, this is the point. This is the point of It's Nice That for me, is this breadth. And the idea that you can, that creativity, even with just showing you that video, the power that creativity can have is magic. You had absolutely no idea that kid was going to jump into that puddle. And that, for me, is the absolute essence of what we do. This is a mirror. Yeah, good. This is midway. So you know what we do now, right? We publish stuff to the world that's creative, and we love it, and we love promoting it. So you've had enough of that. Boring. You can go and find that out anywhere. I wanted to talk to you for 2 minutes and 57 seconds about what's next, really. So what's next for us is about now changing the paradigm a little bit. It's okay to use creativity as this nice little thing, but we have 25 mouths to feed. We have people getting married in the studio. We have people giving birth. We have, you know, we have proper human beings in this studio that need to be looked after, and we have to make sure this is a viable business forever. And how do you do that? This is the way you do it. I change that question mark to a tick. Essentially, this, for me, means that what It's Nice That needs to do moving forward is we have to deliver impact, and we have to deliver change, and we have to deliver real worth and need and purpose in what we're doing. So if what we're doing, we can't decide why we're doing it or what the point is, then we're not doing it anymore. That's it. So the idea we put those 9 articles up every morning is so that we can delight you or we can inspire you in the morning. Amazing. Brilliant, perfect. A work we're doing for a brand, maybe, what do they want to get out of it? Okay, they want to look cool somewhere. That's not good enough. Like, what is the absolute point of you doing it? And with that, we become a necessity. It's nice that, and creativity becomes a necessity rather than a nice little blog that you read sometimes. And that is the real challenge, really. So this is our mantra, the idea that creativity makes things better. And we believe that if you harness creativity in the right ways, you can change the world. You can change things. And we're not really setting out to change the world. We don't have the scale, we don't have the ability, we don't really have the brains to change the world. But what we do think we can do is make things a little bit better, a tiny little bit better. So I want to give you some examples of that. This is a guy who feels better now, okay, after creativity. So these are projects that I think show how creativity can make things better. This is an amazing project done by a French agency that saw loads of wastage in supermarkets, made the vegetables cheaper in those supermarkets because they were a bit deformed. And so instead of throwing them away, they just made them 50% cheaper, and they sold loads and loads of vegetables that were going to get wasted anyway. Amazing. That's a creative response done by an amazing photographer, some amazing creative ideas, and then executed beautifully. And that, for me, is creativity making something better. This is downstairs, if you can believe it. I mean, how lucky are you? This is the Mine Cathon, that is essentially a landmine discovering device that gets pushed along by the wind. So it's light enough to be rolled over a landmine, but heavy enough to set it off. And so this saves people's lives. Normally landmines are found by hand, by human beings. This is an amazing thing. Also, this is the ostrich pillow. It means you can sleep in an airport more comfortably. Great idea. That's creativity making something just a little bit better. Rather than trying to have a sleep on that little chair, you can do it in an amazingly comfortable headdress. And also, Little Sun, again, I'm out of time, but this is amazing. This is a project, if you don't know about it, you should have a look at it. It's bringing sustainable light sources to 1.2 billion people all over the world with olefin iron. And again, an incredible thing, but these are just simply people thinking in a creative way to solve a different problem. I'm going to skip that. You all like Wayne's World anyway. So I believe that creativity is the decisive source of competitive advantage now. So that's the same for brands who need to make content that people read. It has to be creative, it has to be interesting. Equally, it's the same for solving any problem now. So many things have been solved. There's so many products of the world that to do anything of any worth, I really believe you need creativity. And that's why things like this weekend are so brilliant. Getting people in a room, different people coming together to solve different things is amazing. And that's really, for me as well, personally, we're talking about it's nice that, but for me personally, I'm here, Will isn't here, I can say what I want. This is the legacy that I want to leave in the world. You know, when I'm 100 and I'm dead, what if I made things just a little bit better? I think that would be brilliant. Not made loads of money, not had the biggest media company in the world, but actually just improved something for someone. Maybe that's a state agency. You know, maybe that's a pub. Who knows what we can do, but there's so many... There are so many things, I think, in the world, and especially in the creative industry, that are done with a lack of trust, or they're not done quite well enough. And if we could be a recruitment agent that charged slightly less percentage than the other recruitment agencies and found better people for you quicker, amazing. That's the kind of stuff that really excites me as we grow. So that's it. So what should we achieve as a creative ecosystem in the next 5 years? We should be achieving some kind of... we should be improving something, and if we're not doing that, I don't know what we're doing. So thanks very much, but before I go, I'm going to be in that little bar thing, and you'll be too scared to say hello or whatever, but please talk to me, because you guys, reading it's nice that we're doing a huge piece of research at the moment about why you look at it, and that's massively important for me to know, so come and tell me why you look at it. Do you look at it to steal reference for your agency? Do you look at it to phone up that illustrator to get them to do something? Do you look at it because it makes you smile? Without that information, we can't even attempt to do that other stuff. So I'd be absolutely blessed if you came and spoke to me, and thank you so much, Andreas.